Welcome to the Rotary Club of Martinsburg podcast, where service meets community. I'm your host, Kevin Brackens, and I'm going to connect you with the people, stories, and projects that are making a difference here in West Virginia and beyond. At the Rotary Club of Martinsburg, we believe in service above self. Each week, we'll dive into conversations with local leaders, volunteers, and change makers who are driving positive change in our community. This conversation is made possible by Brackens Painting. Brackens Painting is the region's best residential and commercial painting company. When schedule and quality count on Brackens. We've got you covered. Chasidy, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
So you are in the Spring Mills Satellite Club.
Correct.
That's really cool because that's a new club. When did that start?
I believe it started in August of 2023, so we're just celebrating our 1 year.
Wow. Okay. Are you from this area, or how did you get involved in Rotary?
I live in Winchester, but I got involved with Rotary through my work, WVU Medicine. I have visited many Rotary clubs throughout the years, but this is the first time that I've ever chosen to join a club.
When you were visiting, in what capacity?
I would often be a guest of someone in Rotary, so they would invite me to come to the meeting and join them.
Did you do any presenting or anything like that?
I did not.
No? What do you do professionally?
I am a physician liaison for WVU Medicine, so I do a lot of our marketing and physician relations.
Nice. How about your family? Tell me about your background.
I'm originally from Ohio, the oldest of 5 children. All of my family is still there. I live in Winchester. I have 2 sons, 2 adult sons. My youngest son is active duty military, and my oldest lives in my basement, but we are really working hard to move him out.
Let me tell you something. I moved back into my mom's house probably 7 times.
Oh no.
I know. Get ready. Yeah, it was like, so there's after high school, there was like community college, then there was like lack of direction. And then I moved back in because my lease had run out somewhere. Again, no direction. Then I moved to Florida, no direction, moved back home. My mom is a real gem because she let me move back even after the military. I just still didn't really know what direction I was going. I was getting ready to go to school, so I had nowhere to move for the summer before school started. I moved back in even at age 27, 26. Get ready, Chasidy.
Well, he's 24.
Okay.
He did the college route, then he did technical school, and he's finally in a career. He's on his feet, but he's very content with little responsibilities. So
that's the good life when you're a kid.
It is. He's really, but no, he's such a hard worker, and I'm really proud of him. And to be able to work toward buying your first home at 24 is amazing.
That's huge. I'm double his age, and I still thank my mom for the grace and support that she gave me in exactly those years.
Yeah. So. I think that no matter the age, either of my sons can always come home.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good mom. So what really inspired you to join the Rotary Club? And let me ask you a question, too. Did you join the satellite, or did you join one before it became a satellite club?
I joined the satellite club. I have actually only been a member of the satellite club for about 8 months. So I joined at the beginning of this year. What inspired me to join was it fit within my schedule. A lot of the clubs meet at noon, and my work schedule is very busy. So I wasn't able to dedicate the time that I needed to dedicate to Rotary. So with the Satellite Club meeting in the evenings after work, it just was really a great fit for my personal life, and to be able to be as involved in Rotary as I wanted to be.
Gotcha. How did you find out that there was a Satellite Club to pique your interest? Like I was so busy with my own Rotary stuff that I didn't really watch the development of a satellite club.
I had recalled seeing some social media posts about it. I think that they held an information session for it as they were starting it. And then my boss is a member of the Sunrise Club, and she came to me and said, hey, there's the Satellite Club in Spring Mills. I would really like one of our team members to check it out and see if it would work for you, because she had really been encouraging me to join Rotary, but again, it just wasn't working for my schedule. So I went to a meeting in January, and I decided that day that I wanted to join, and I did.
That's really cool. So when you join a Rotary Club, I remember how I first joined, and I was really excited. It was the Rotary Club of Charlestown. It was back before COVID. I think I joined in 2017. And I was really impressed that I knew a lot of people in the room already. It was already people that were productive in the community. It was good people that you could see at sort of networking events or were captains of their industry in the region. Did you have the same sort of feeling, or did you know anybody when you went for your information session?
I didn't know anyone. I knew Pam Wagner, obviously, through my career. I knew more people at the Noon Club than I knew at the Spring Mills Club.
Yeah.
So,
do you know how many members are in the Spring Mills Club?
We have 28 members.
Okay. How often do they meet?
We meet twice a month. So we meet at the second and fourth Thursday of every month.
Nice. What time of day?
We meet at 5:30. The meeting on the second Tuesday is what we call our business meeting. So it's very structured. We bring in a guest presenter, kind of your typical Rotary meeting. On the fourth Thursday, we like to have a little fun with it. So we have what we call our mixer meeting. So we go to different venues. We did one with Norse Hall Craft Mead, and they gave us a tour. They explained the process of how they make the mead and the hot sauces. We got to do samples, and it was this really great experience of being involved in the businesses in our community. So for our second meeting of the month on the fourth Thursday, we really try to focus on that. What organization can we go to, visit with, support them, and learn more about what they do? So I always say we're on the move. For people who want to come to our club, just pay attention to our posts on Facebook or get in contact with one of the club members.
Well, that's really neat, because you're the first person on this podcast or interview that's not from my current club, which is significantly structured.
Yes.
During the meetings. You
Yes.
get there about 8 to 15 minutes before the president kind of rings the bell and everybody starts the business announcement, community announcements, golden moments. It is very routine. Over and over and over again, although the content changes and there's always a really great speaker. But it's neat that other clubs choose to be inspired by organization, but then branch out to do different types. Were you there as that was developing?
I was, and since I have joined in January, as a brand new club, when I joined in January, they were only a couple months old. They were still finding their footing. So when I joined as programs committee, and then someone else I work with joined as the chair of that club. So we were able to really work with some other senior leaders in the club and kind of set a focus. What were our goals going to be for the next year? How could we structure the meetings better? And we really did change a lot of the structure for the better for that club. Now we are a little bit more informal, but we like that. Our meetings are a round table. We all sit in a circle at CNB Bank in the meeting room, and a lot of times it's just open conversation. And we really enjoy that kind of, not that we're not structured, but it does give us a sense of connection with each other. And I really like that about our club.
That's wonderful. And I love that you can take the 4-way test seriously. You can take the tenets and the goals of Rotary. And eventually I'll have a podcast where somebody who's definitely more knowledgeable than I am on the operations of Rotary International to talk about the different types of clubs. It says environmental clubs, that the Rotary Club that's specifically environmental only works on environmental tasks. They don't branch outside of that. I can't even mention all of them because I don't know all of them, but I just know that there's different categories of clubs. And do you think that even though your club is still sort of in its infancy, do you think it has a direction, or is it like, what would you say is the kind of style besides, and the only reason you would use the word informal, it's compared to the Noon Club and many other much, much larger clubs. I think when it's that big, it has to stay structured. But when you're under 50 people, I guess you can have more fluidity.
Yes.
So the question was, what sort of personality do you think your club might be pointing towards?
So when I first joined as part of the programs committee, our chair of programs and I sat and had a conversation about who do we want to bring in? Because I really felt that who we have present drives the direction of our club. Where do we want to go as a club? What do we want to do collectively as a club? And then we met with the chair, the vice chair, and the secretary of the club and said, what is your goals? Who do you want to see presenting? What is your vision for where we're going to go as a club? And really collectively, our goal was outreach, community outreach. How can we be more involved in nonprofits? How can we support them? How can we partner with them? We're a small club. We don't have the financial resources or maybe the manpower to do massive fundraisers, with $60,000 in revenue, but we do have enough people that we can make an impact. So that really became our focus for this year, was how can we be more involved in our community? So community service. So we're actually planning our first 5K fundraiser as a result of that. But that's how we made the decision of who we want to be, what we want to be known for, and the direction we want to go.
Great answer. You touched on a topic that I was going to lead into when it comes to leadership. So you have taken on leadership roles with the club, and you've mentioned programming. What does that mean to you, programming? Programming
for me means, obviously, it's speakers. Who do we want to have present? How can we gain knowledge about our community, issues that are impacting our community, economic development within our community? And we do try to focus more on the Spring Mills area, not that we don't branch out, but because that's our focus, that's our satellite, and the majority of our people, the people in our club, either work or live in the Spring Mills area.
Yeah, it's your turf. Yeah.
So programs was really identifying, like I said, who do we want to have? Where can we find the most value for our members and for the people that we bring in? It also was finding a venue. For many months, we were homeless.
Sure.
It was, the Spring Mills area is not large. It was finding meeting spaces. We moved to several different locations. And then it was also structure. It was saying, our mixers are going to have an agenda. Our business meeting, as we refer to them, will have a more set agenda, and bringing more structure was part of our programs as well. And then where do we want to go when we go out on the town to visit businesses and take tours? So that was really programs. It was about value.
I love that. What are some other businesses that you've been able to visit, or do you plan on visiting coming up?
I actually am hoping to get Black Draft soon. That we, just touring their facilities. I've reached out to the Sycamore, so I think we're working on that. So it's really just a different variety. We have some new businesses coming to the Spring Mills area within the next year. So hopefully we'll be able to visit them as well. And then if any businesses would love to host us, we would love to come. CMC Steel.
Right.
We had them, and they were phenomenal, and they've invited us to tour their construction, and then
It's significant construction, right?
Oh, it is. And then once they're open, they've invited us to come see their new space. So we're really excited what they are doing for the community, and the economic, impact of that, I think, is going to be very significant for
Right.
Berkeley County.
Don't they have deliveries, I think, from elsewhere of recyclable steel.
Yes.
And then they melt it down and turn it into rebar.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But it's a very clean process.
Future. It's a future.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a very innovative, very clean. So it was really enlightening to hear from them and everything that they're doing.
It must be a heck of a thing to be in a Rotary Club when you have the ability to adjust the vision, adjust the expectations. You probably have a growth plan, like, okay, if we reach a certain number of members, maybe we'll have 3 times a month or 4 times a month. Like the bandwidth will expand, right?
Yes. And I think ultimately our goal is to have enough members that we become our own club. We're not there yet. In our district governor, Pam Wagner, is very supportive of us eventually becoming our own club.
So as a satellite club, you've just kind of moved out.
Correct.
Is that kind of how it is?
Correct.
Okay.
Like we are still under, I guess, the umbrella, for lack of a better word, of the Martinsburg, the Noon Rotary. That's why we're considered a satellite of them. But
I see.
They're our reporting structure ultimately. But I think the goal is to become our own club, and then again to increase, our monthly meetings, although we're not quite there yet.
Well, I totally get it. But you have to have solid leadership. I mean, you have to have people with vision and understanding of growth and not trying to consume too quickly, not trying to expand too quickly.
Right.
Almost tactical recruitment to bring in strong people for the future. Who are some of the other leaders in the club that you'd like to mention?
Obviously, our chair, Ray Visconti, he has done a lot to bring structure and direction to the club. We have an amazing secretary who, Hold
on, I have to ask questions.
Okay.
Was Ray a Rotarian before?
He was not.
Wow.
So he actually became chair at our second Rotary meeting at Spring Mills.
He just wanted to step up.
Well, the current chair had to step away due to some family obligations, and there was no one else in the club that felt confident enough to step up and take over. And he said, "I'll do it." And before he was officially a member of Rotary, he was chair of the club.
Well, I got to get him in here to hear about that inspiration, because to me, because I'm a part of a very big Rotary Club with a lot of people who've been in it, some of them more than 25 and 30 years, it's intimidating, frankly. Like, you don't know when is the right time to make a move. With all this experience, how do I know if I'm a leader?
Right.
Besides just volunteering. I'd love to have Ray in here, because that's a huge move. Like, as you're considering becoming and then just stepping up. So who else is a leader?
I have to give a shout out to our secretary, Dana Phelps.
Okay.
She has done so much work for that club, and prior to Ray joining and I joining, she was really leading the club as a secretary. She was doing the agenda. She was keeping it on track. And still to this day, she's so involved. She's willing to do anything that you ask. She is helping me with the 5K. She's helping me plan the summer or fall picnic that we're hosting on September 19th. She's just organized and dedicated, and I don't think that club would have survived without her presence.
That's great. It's a great team, it sounds like.
Yes.
And coincidentally, I'm on your committee for the 5K.
Yes.
Kind of as a consultant. I don't have a lot of time to volunteer to do a lot of legwork, but as an experienced race director, I'm happy to share my expertise and my knowledge. But your whole leadership team is on that committee.
Correct.
So I guess because the club is so small in size, pretty much the leadership are the tip of the spear for almost any major sort of event. Is that
Correct.
the case?
This is our first major event, but yes, that is correct.
That's amazing. So as this member spotlight sort of wraps up, I like to tap into a few things about kind of tapping into your emotion and your vision for the future for Rotary. So what would you say, this is the traits question, what would you say would be traits of a good Rotarian? And I'm thinking attitude or contribution, involvement in things. What do you think really makes a good Rotarian? And this is crucial for your club because you want to stack early with contributors.
Yeah, I would say commitment. Commitment and dedication make a great Rotarian. It is very easy to become involved with life and other responsibilities, and then Rotary becomes, a little lower on the priority list.
Sure.
And sometimes that's very understandable. But Rotary, it takes a village. There's nothing that we accomplish in Rotary single-handedly. It is a team. It is a group of people coming together, to support something they believe in, from volunteer work to fundraising. So having a level of commitment and dedication, also involvement, that connection to community, because that makes the biggest difference. Rotary is an organization of service above self. So if that's your passion, and that's where my passion is, I came from an inner city and poverty. So my passion is it's children and it's community service. If there's an event, I'm going to volunteer. If I can give back, I can. So finding what connects you to your community, there's something in Rotary for that. So join and be able to be a part of a larger community that has the same investment as you to really give back to the community. And that has, for me, with the Noon Club and the Satellite Club, that has been my greatest joy, to see the amount of work that we do in the community, the making pancakes, cleaning up the C&O Canal, raising money for a children's park. I think that makes a good Rotarian.
Absolutely. If I can see if I totally understand, somebody to be a good Rotarian, you want to know your bandwidth.
Correct.
Don't commit to things if maybe you can't follow through.
Correct.
Like Tracy wanted me to be committee chair of public image, which includes this 5-page outline of what the club expects has been passed down generation after generation. And I was like, I don't know. I can't do those things.
Correct.
I'm not that savvy on social media where I'm going to research links to share initiatives about mental health awareness month. It's just way outside my scope. And I turned it down, I turned it down, I turned it down. And then at some point I realized I could give back with the podcast. I give back by creating a YouTube channel, providing a platform where we talk about a member, how they found the club, what they were inspired by, what their favorite initiatives are, and why they're a Rotarian, and then why someone should join. And I figured out that it was actually a higher level than just posting on social media. So when it's Mental Health Awareness Month, ideally I have guests on that can talk about that stuff for the club. Almost like the presentation, but that was my goal, and that's how I've sort of twisted. I said, here's my bandwidth of what I can do to help the club and to improve the public image. And my goal is to, once this is successful, is to take it to the region and say, Pam, if there's anybody out there that wants to start their own channel, I'll mentor them along. I'll give them some guidance. Kind of like I'm helping with the 5K. I'm not going to be there to show you how to do it and say it's this way or the only way. It's more like I'm just here to help. But that's my goal, and I knew my bandwidth would not be the social media side, but I knew I could produce one of these or two of these a week. This would be
Right.
great because it's my skill set.
And it's uniquely you. And I think when we think about public image, and the goal of Rotary International is to diversify, it's to recruit women, to recruit minorities. And by doing something uniquely you, like a podcast, you tap into a different demographic completely. And it's potentially that demographic that the Rotary is trying to capture. So it's really about across Rotary, whatever committee you're in, is how can you bring your unique self to it and expand it and grow it. So I think it's great that you're doing, you put a 5-page document aside and say, how can I make this really incredible and unique, and it's authentic to who you are.
Thank you. Yeah, that's it. That's exactly how I feel about it too. It is. So final things, kind of a call to action.
Okay.
What would be your elevator pitch to encourage somebody that you think would be a good Rotarian to join, whether it's Spring Mill Satellite or Lunchtime Martinsburg or Sunrise Martinsburg or Shepherdstown, Charlestown, anywhere in the region? What would you say? And maybe I'll share mine after I'm inspired by whatever you say.
Okay. What I would say is try it. Come to a couple meetings and be my guest, and see what you think. And I think generally, if you connect them to somebody passionate, a passionate Rotarian, they're going to want to join. They're going to want to be a part of who you are. So my call to action would just be, there's something for everyone here. Join me for a few meetings. Let's talk about it. There's no obligation. If it's not for you, I mean, I spent years attending Rotary meetings and never joining. They just weren't for me. And then I found the Satellite Club and I joined. So I would encourage that. That's my call to action.
You can try multiple, right? You can try
Yes.
multiple clubs. I've been a member of 2 clubs, and both clubs, surprisingly, they're both lunchtime clubs. I spoke at the breakfast one once or twice, but they're both lunch clubs, and every time I leave lunch, I feel great. I realize I had lunch with good people who were positive-minded and looking to improve the community, and leaving with a great feeling for me every Thursday is the most baseline benefit.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, this has been a really good conversation.
Well,
Thanks for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me on.
Nice. Oh, one more thing.
Yes.
How do they find Satellite or Spring Mill Satellite Club? Like, is there a website? Is there a
We are
Facebook
on
page?
Facebook.
Okay.
We are on Facebook, Spring Mill Satellite Rotary Club. I believe we are also on the Martinsburg Rotary website.
Well, good.
Yeah.
I'll put those sort of tags in the show notes.
Perfect.
Okay, great.
Thank
I
you.
can't believe I almost forgot that.